Hi, today I'm going to run a little test on my setup for how to transport my kayak. But a little bit of background story. It's been 6-7 years where I've been kayaking, and I have always been hesitant to invest in a hardshell kayak simply because I do not have the means for transportation. I still don't have that, so to speak. But I did buy this Sea Motion 505, if you know, if you've seen some of my videos, and I do have to transport this somewhere sometimes, and I still do not have a car. So in order to solve that problem, I have myself made a trailer that runs with my motorbike. Now, I have been out driving with this trailer before, and I went to the Ping River. It's a 10 kilometers ride each way, and I did not have big issues with it, but I did at a certain point, doing about 30-35 kilometers an hour, got a real scare because it was just way too wobbly for me. So I had to have it modified, and I've had that modified now, and I have got the trailer back, but today I want to run it for a test and to see how it works, because there's a lot of variables to it. But let's just take a look at how it actually looks like. So the motorbike here is a Yamaha Exciter 150cc full manual. It has got no issue pulling the kayak, but the trailer. And here we got the rack, and underneath here you can see I've got a small steel plate that's bolted onto the rack, and then we got my ball head from the trailer, which is locked in with a simple pin on the knot here below so that it doesn't run off. And the ball head here just makes sure it can move around as it's needed. Then we got the trailer itself, and this is how it looks like. It's very lightweight, relatively. But when I initially had this trailer made, it was made based on some ideas. I saw people doing it, but they primarily did it for bicycles. And when you're doing bicycling, you obviously don't do 30-40 kilometers an hour. You do a lot slower, so whatever is actually okay. So when I got this one, I had this pipe here, this one there, down there, and then just the center pipe all the way down to the trailer. That was all I had. And then I had a little bit of support here for the nose of the kayak and a little bit of support back on the trailer itself. I did not have these crossbars, and I did not have these outer bars here, which has got more to it. So when I was driving, it got really wobbly because it was just like this bent pipe here that had to hold it all up, and it was not rigid enough. So that's why I have now had this strengthened a bit, and I'm hoping that this means that I obviously don't have any give on the angle here, and I do not have any sideways gives, very little anyway, and that altogether I hope will stabilize it. And then it's just that the kayak has to be cradled in between these bars here. But the trailer is not as long as my kayak is. My kayak is 5 meters and 5 centimeters long. So obviously it's also a matter of center of gravity. And I did not take that into consideration when I had the kayak, the trailer made. I made it 2.5 meters long, because I thought if it's half the length of the kayak, then everything will be good. But it does mean that I have too much kayak leaving out on the back side of it. So now, because of this new design, how it's cradled, I will have more than 50% of the kayak in front of the wheelbase. So that is okay. We got the center of gravity on the right point. But I'm also loading the kayak up on this little test ride to see how it works when it's loaded. And obviously I do not have any luggage in the back compartment. It is all shifted into the cockpit because I want as little weight as possible behind the wheelbase on the trailer. So anyway, let's see how that works. Let me get the kayak loaded on my trailer. All right, now we got the kayak rigged here, and as you can see, I've got the kayak going a little bit beyond that point there because the kayak is lying at an angle, and that means I can have the bow of the kayak going further than the trailer is actually long. That in turn means I have got the cockpit is up here, and I've got more than half the kayak beyond the axle of the trailer, but I've still got a significant amount of kayak on the other side of it, but all the gear is also in the front part of it. So what we're going to see now is if this is going to work, and if I'm able to do 40-50 kilometers an hour safely. And that's really the key here, because if I can't do that, then I can't be using it for the longer trips as I'm planning it. But let's take a ride. Let's just see how it is. I have to say I feel intimidated about it. I've ridden with it a few times already, back before it was sorted, and I don't like it. I mean, I am about 7.5 meters long in this the setup, and that's long for a motorbike. And this is Thailand, the traffic is not the safest in the world. But what are you going to do? If you want to enjoy your sport, you got to do what you got to do. So let's take a ride. That went much better than I anticipated. That enhancement that I've done, making the trailer much more rigid, just works like a charm. I was doing 52, 53 an hour, and I don't want to push it further than that. I don't need to push it further than that. That's where I'm comfortable about, and it really felt good. The only thing that was different from before, for obvious reasons, is that it was weird to have that load on the back of my motorbike, because normally, or the last time I did drive with it, I had no load in Kayak. Plus it was loaded a little bit further backwards. Now I had more forward load on it, and I have all the luggage in the Kayak as well. So it made for a very different experience in terms of the balance on the motorbike. But no problem whatsoever. It worked like a charm. So this is the setup that I'll be using when I'm out on my longer trips. I might be looking for solutions with cars if I'm going more than 200 kilometers away. That might actually be, but for shorter trips, 50, 100 kilometers, this one is good. So see you at the next adventure, which is coming up. 3 days kayaking, camping, cooking, and having a lot of fun will be the next one. So until next time, stay curious.